Okay, this is my first time speaking, by the way, so I'm going to do my best. My name is Sarah. I grew up half in France, half in the United States, and I had two different experiences because I got to experience the different things that happen in the United States, how it has a military program running that I was involved in, and also because my family is royal bloodline from France, how it was hacked and used for the goals of the United States that they wanted. So I'm going to try to explain my best all of this and the experiences that I had without getting too much anxiety. And hopefully, if I focus on Max.
So what I'm going to do is Sarah's going to speak, and then when certain things arise, I'll ask her questions, and so we'll do a back and forth like that.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's the best thing.
All right. So then you should probably. Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up? And then why did you move from France to the US?
Okay, so.
And how did you grow up?
It started in World War II, right after World War II. I'm going to speak a bit about my mother because that's what ties in everything. Right after World War II, my mother, she was just a small child, and she was adopted by an American soldier, and he brought her to the United States. My mother is from a line of counts and countesses, so she's bloodline. The thing is that I believe she was taken from France because of her abilities and the bloodline she is, so that she could be used in a program. She grew up on Edwards Air Force Base partially, and she was brought everywhere. My adopted grandfather or grandfather that adopted her eventually became the security guard of President Reagan and his close friend. And my mom became an MP and stayed on some of the different bases in the United States. And she has some very strange marks on her, and I believe that she was used in testing too. Eventually, my mother kind of lost it. She has extreme psychic abilities, but she kind of just went off the brink. So she had me and my brothers and sisters, and I have 7 brothers and sisters. We were all closed up. We grew up pretty much in the wilderness. Partially when I was small in the United States, we grew up. So we connected to animals and different things like that.
So each brother and sister was from different.
Okay,
right?
So I believe that my mother may have been used as breeder because my father is from a line of dukes, and each of my brothers and sisters have different fathers. And we weren't allowed to go to school or anything. We essentially grew up in the forest, and we chopped wood and all sorts of things. We were not allowed to really go into society at all. And my mom had it a bit military in the way that she raised us. We would all stand in a line. We would all stand to go shower. And then she also pushed us to our limits. She would wake us up and hose us down in the middle of the night in the snow. And it pushed me, I think, also to be able to become very, very strong in a way. And the thing is that at this whole time, we were having very strange experiences. We had UFOs that followed us. I remember abductions where they would be taking my brothers and sisters, literally taking them. And I just kept all of these things in my mind. And now that I'm much older, I've researched it and realized what they were doing. And it's very, very hard on the children who have suffered this, because by pushing them, what they do is they want you. The abilities only manifest when you are extremely, extremely pushed to the brink. That's when they manifest. They figured out if they can extremely push you to the brink of emotions, because emotions are the key, that's what manifests these abilities. If something extremely drastic happens to you, you have a rush of chemicals in the body that pushes you to have extreme abilities. Sometimes you hear of people who have lifted cars or stuff like that when there were really dangerous situations. So what they were trying to do is they were trying to train groups of children who, when they put them under extreme emotional stress, who would have these abilities eventually, and then they could go ahead and use these abilities. There are different ways that they use these abilities, that they access them. But initially, they only targeted certain bloodlines for this because they know from a long time ago that it's within the DNA. I've come across a few other people like this, and sadly, most of them don't come out very well. It's very, very, very bad. They have very, very bad lives, and initially, some of them commit suicide. Some of them just can't cope with it, and I think the only reason that I did is because of the fact that I also have a very spiritual side. Within all this that happened to me, I have memories of different planets, and I will speak about Mars eventually, and the war on Mars, and the wars of the planets, which now it's coming out in mainstream news that there were wars on Mars, nuclear. And I have all of these different memories and all of this different help from different beings because I am able to do outer body experiences or astral travel or walk dimensions. And then the thing is that all of these abilities were pushed, and I also believe that they were using people who can access this different stuff so that they could explore those levels. I know that I've accessed levels where realms where the Nazis were, where they've taken all the energy from all the people that were harmed, and they were able to literally manifest themselves out of this realm into there. Somehow they were able to create a literal realm where it's still going on, and these realms are still happening right now.
I think what happens is they create pocket dimensions there. Yes. Through technology. It's not in the third frequency or the fourth. In between there, you can create pocket frequencies, and if we're thinking of the Third Reich or the Fourth Reich, which is the extension of what the Nazis are, in truth, that would perhaps be the 12th or the 15th Reich, because these Reichs have been going on for thousands of years. But they have the technology to create pockets in between frequencies where they're able to harvest energy using human beings.
And it's very, very hard. I had a friend, so when I was in the United States, I told my friend about this, and he meditates, and he's quite sensitive to subtle energies, and I told him about it, and he was like, I want to go ahead and try to access and see what's going on. And he's the head of a hotel. He's the manager of a hotel, and he's quite level-headed, and he has a lot of responsibilities. And it was very, very interesting because I told him about it. Then I went home, and he was just really interested in it. And then he calls me up frantically the next day, and he's like, listen, you need to come down here. He's like, I was meditating, and I literally accessed that pocket of reality or that dimension where their Nazis are and where they're still carrying out stuff. And he was telling me about it, and he was just terrified about it. And he had a very strange mark on the back of his neck. Then the police came. Then his other friend went disappeared for a couple of hours. And I think the way we're able to access this, or the way I am, is through almost like tune in a radio and vibrations. So I can tune up or down. And I believe that the thing is that we are not aware of all of this stuff going on, and it's going on in these different frequencies, like when you tune a radio, and it's really happening on these other frequencies, and it's mirroring down into this world. It's mirroring down into 3D.
I think a good analogy would be if you tune the radio to 93.7, for example, you can hear that station going on, but it doesn't mean that 102.8 or 93.1 doesn't exist anymore. It's still existing in the same area. It's just that part, you're not tuned into that part. So the mind or the body is able to, we're all sort of tuned in right now to this particular room. So we're all collectively focused on this room, but that doesn't mean that there isn't other frequencies going on in covering the same space.